Hi, it's me, Dr. Amy with Amethyst Wellness. Today we're going to talk about your fitness genes results and how to interpret your nutrition recommendations, and then we'll make a meal plan from that. So first, look at your fitness genes results. You want to log onto your site and go right to the action blueprint. Now, the action blueprint is a summary of all of your recommendations based on your genes. There's a lot of information that you can read about yourself before you get to the blueprint, but some people can find that a little bit overwhelming. So if we skip right to the summary, I'll show you how to make a meal plan from that information. So next, click on your nutrition calculator, which is right here. Okay, what you're going to do is put your height, weight, age, gender. Also on your lifestyle questionnaire, you answered some questions about your activity level and your goals. So go ahead and fill that out and click calculate. You're going to get something that looks like this. So this is an example of my recommendations. Now I've upgraded to the fat loss plan through Fitness Genes. Every nutrition recommendation looks like this in the format, but mine is tailored for my genetics to lose fat, which is my goal. So we're going to make a meal plan based on my recommendations. You can substitute your macronutrient recommendations, and I'll show you how to do that. So first, let's review macronutrients. All of the Fitness Gene plans are based on different macronutrient ratios for your genetics. But to understand what that means, you need to understand macronutrients. There are three main macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Now, each 1 gram of carbohydrate has 4 calories. Each 1 gram of protein has 4 calories, and each 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. So now we're going to do some math. These are my recommendations. For me to meet my fat loss goal, I need to make each meal 39% carbohydrate, 33% fat, and 39% carbohydrate, 33% protein, and 28% fat. Now first we'll look at my breakfast recommendations. I should have 449 calories for breakfast. Breakfast is my biggest meal of the day. I get to have a nice hearty breakfast, which is really satisfying. And here's how you do it. I want you first to take the percentage. Let's say for carbohydrates I should have 39%, and make it into a decimal, so 0.39. Then you're going to multiply by your total calories, which in this case is 449, and what you get is 175 calories that I should get from carbohydrate. We're going to take it a step further and divide by 4, because remember, there are 4 calories in every gram of carbohydrate, and that equals 44. So 44 grams of carbohydrate are my goal for breakfast. We'll do the same thing with protein. I need 33% of my calories to come from protein. So 0.33 times 449, my total calories, equals 148 calories. So 148 calories should come from protein. We'll divide that number by 4. There are 4 calories in a gram of protein, and we get 37. So we want 37 grams of protein in our breakfast. Now we'll go to fat. I should have 28% of my calories should come from fat. So 0.28 times 449 equals 125 fat calories. We'll divide this number by 9, and we get 14 grams of fat. In a minute, I'll show you how to actually make a meal plan from these numbers. But first, let's review the total plan. As you can see, breakfast here, 449 calories. Now, my Fitness Genes recommendations are to eat 5 times a day. That's 4 meals and 1 big snack. So when we start planning our meals, we have to incorporate this as well. So you'll see here, my next meals are smaller than breakfast, and I call these meals 2, 3, and 4. It just makes it easier in my head. So there are slight differences in the number of calories I should get in these meals. For simplicity's sake, I average these out. So each of my meals 2, 3, and 4 are going to have 350 calories. You don't have to do that, but I like to make things as easy as possible. Okay, so we're going to do some more math. We won't go through it as painstakingly this time, but you can pause the screen as you need. So this is for meals 2, 3, and 4 that have 350 calories. The macronutrients are the same. So again, I'm going to do the math is here. And what I get for my recommendations are 34 grams of carbohydrate, 29 grams of protein, and 11 grams of fat. We'll do the same for our snack. And it's a nice big snack. I consider it a mini meal. So now we've completed step 1, which is to convert your macronutrient ratios into grams for each meal. So for me, with my fat loss program, I should have about 1,773 total calories. So I'm still eating quite a bit. Now with the fat loss program, each week we decrease the amount of calories and our macronutrients will shift slightly. So I'll be showing you that as well. Okay, so this is the review of how each meal is going to be broken down. What I'll do is actually take this information and put it in front of me while I'm doing my meal planning. Step 2, we're going to create meals now based on these macronutrient recommendations. It's a lot easier to pick an app to use for this. I use livestrong.com. They have a food tracker. It works really well for me. This is a screenshot of it. You can see that it'll tell me how many calories are in each food that I choose and also the macronutrient amounts, and that makes it so easy, and it does the math for me. There are lots of free apps that you can use that will give you this information. Do not spend a lot of money on this. You don't need to. So again, breakfast, 449 calories, and this is my macronutrient breakdown. So this is pretty much a go-to breakfast for me. Nice, big, satisfying breakfast. And I just plugged in every amount of the food that I wanted to eat. Now, one thing you can't see on the screen are portion sizes. So let's say here, the portion size that Livestrong had for black beans was 1 cup. So I use 1/2 cup, and that's here, and a 1/4 cup of sweet potato. 1 serving of guacamole here is actually a tablespoon, and then we have 1/2 a banana. So nice hearty breakfast here, very satisfying. Okay, so now we have our next 3 meals. You can eat, each of these meals can be exactly the same if you need. What I do is I have meals 2 and 3 exactly the same. These are usually meals I eat while I'm at my office, so it's very easy to pack, very easy to eat. For dinner, I'll change things up a little bit when I can. But let's say I get busy and I'm not home for dinner, I can do this. I can do meals 2 and 3. I can repeat that for meal 4. Really, when we're focusing on weight loss and macronutrients, make it as easy as possible. When we get to maintenance in real life, we'll talk about micronutrients and why we should have a variety of foods. So, but for today's purposes, we're just focusing on the macronutrients. So these are my macronutrient recommendations, and I made it really simple. I have 3 ounces of chicken, 1/2 cup of quinoa, 1 cup of green beans, 1/2 tablespoon of olive oil, and 1/3 of an apple. Now, how do you eat 1/3 of an apple? There are a couple ways. One is you can slice it and just split it up. I tend to just pick one of the meals to have the apple at. It's just easier that way. And then here's our snack. And the time of day that I eat the snack will just depend on my schedule, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, step 3, prepare. And this is probably the most important part, is planning your day. We're busy, and so it's very easy for time to get away from us. So I actually plan when I'm going to eat. So this is a sample day for me. Let's say I exercise early in the morning at 6. I want my first meal, which is breakfast, that nice big meal, by 7:30. And then I'll eat the little meals throughout the day. Now on this day, I'm not eating dinner until 7, so I'm going to have my nice big snack at 4. If I have a late meeting, sometimes I need to change this up a little bit, but look at your schedule, look at your kids' sports schedules, look at your commitments, and schedule your eating around them. It's going to help you be successful later. Okay, so now that we know what we're eating, we're going to shop at the grocery store. Now what I do, especially when I'm on a challenge like this, I will cook the first 4 days worth of food, and I will eat the same things every day for 4 days. Then when I get to the end of the week, I tend to have more time and I can vary things up a little bit. So we're going to shop for four days worth of all this food. We'll make some of the meals. The chicken and quinoa are really easy to prepare ahead of time. I tend to have time in the morning to make my breakfast, but if you don't, there are ways you can pre-make egg dishes that are lots of breakfast dishes that'll make it easier for you. And packing for the day. I mentioned that most days I'm out of the house when I eat meals 2 and 3 at least. So make it really easy, and we'll show, and within the next couple of weeks, we'll talk about food preparation and how to do that. And finally, schedule your meals like we talked about. Now you just have to follow your plan. Make it easy, stick to it, be accountable to yourself, be accountable to others. Vlogging can be a great way to tell other people what you're doing. So we'll talk more about that in our vlogs as we go. I hope you enjoyed our session. Thanks for listening, and here's to your health.